the history, how you got into BIGGBY. It's one of the more unusual.
It is unusual,
unique
yes.
stories around entering this world.
Yeah. All right. I was born to BIGGBY, basically. My parents owned a BIGGBY, and I will never forget it. We used to walk to a coffee shop in Delta Township, and we would walk there, get coffee, and come home.
Oh, not a BIGGBY.
Not a BIGGBY.
Got it.
Nope. We're dating ourselves
I was
here.
like Delta
We're dating
Township,
ourselves
yeah.
here. Yes.
What was that one called?
I can't remember. Somebody asked me the other day, maybe like a Coffee Bean or something. It was a mom and pop shop. It had, big like Papasan chairs, and they sold like tuna salad and stuff like that. And that was my first experience with coffee. And then one day they sat us down and they said, "We have some news." And I was like, "We're moving. We're out of here. We're moving." And they were like, "No." Or they said yes first. And Joey and I were like, "Okay." And they're like, "You'd be okay with that?" And we're like, "Yeah, sounds fun." And Joey was going to college anyway.
What year, how old would you have been at this point?
I was probably 13.
13, yeah.
Yep. And they said, "No, we're opening a coffee shop." And I was like, "Okay, where?" And I was so excited because that coffee shop that I loved had just closed down. And I was like, "Oh my God, I know where we're going." And they were like, "Okemos." I was like, "Oh, okay." And I couldn't even drive yet. So like,
Did they have the lease already on the property?
They signed the lease in 1999.
Did they have it before they told you?
Yes, because my dad had an envelope.
Okay.
Like that was going to be something cool. We're like, "Can we go see it?" Like,
I
it's
mean,
not built yet.
I worked with pretty closely with your parents on that whole thing, because that was the mole hole before.
It was the mole hole was next to it, and so
And
they
they
put up a wall
and they
split
downsized
it
the
in
mole
half.
hole,
Yes,
yeah.
and they were our landlords.
Yep.
Those guys were the landlords.
Yeah,
And
I can't imagine they're still the landlords, right?
they're not. No, they moved somewhere in a lake years ago. They did. Yeah. And Ron and something. They were great.
They were great.
They were great guys. And one of my first experiences with BIGGBY was that I got to come in while they were still building it, and I remember the tiles were being laid, so you had to like tiptoe wherever the contractors, as they're on their hands and knees doing grout or something. And I remember I had just got a bedazzler. Like, this is how long it is ago we're talking. I had beads in my hair. I had short hair, and it flipped out like this because we have a picture, and that's my first BIGGBY picture. And I was like, I had to bedazzle my hair for the first BIGGBY picture, really? And Mary Roselle was there, and Seth was there.
Yep. Boy.
Yeah, and I remember I got to go behind the counter, but they were training. And so Mary helped me. I set up the coffee bean wall with the big plastic. It said to my parents, "I'm going to be a chef."
I remember that.
And
I remember you talking about that.
I wanted to be a chef, and they were like, "Ooh." My uncle was a chef, and my dad worked in the food service industry and was like, "Keegan, I don't know if you want to be a chef." And I was like, "Well, I don't know what else I want to be." And they said, "Get a degree." I said, "Fine, I will get a degree if I can also do something else." And so I somehow got fortunate enough that somebody at BIGGBY came asking if I would help at an annual meeting, which back then was like...
Is that how that started?
Yes. So I helped make sandwiches for a menu. These would have been paninis and bagel sandwiches. And then another year I got asked just to model new uniforms. And so this is kind of how I got my start in the corporate office. And then at 4 events that you guys had, I would be the barista. Yeah. And then I thought I was so cool when I got asked if I could please work a few hours and do the entire maintenance chart for the month. So I got hired to do the maintenance chart. Thank you, Jeremy. And I did that, and then I came on part-time and then full-time.
Yeah. Okay, so I remember
But I was younger than I think people realize.
I think so too.
Yeah.
Yeah. What were you, like 18, 17?
I started there at 17. I went full-time at 19.
Yeah.
And I remember when I started traveling for BIGGBY, I wasn't even old enough to get a rental car.
Right.
Yep.
So, okay, so I remember I thought you came in the barista role. I didn't know the annual meeting piece. It's a long time ago.
But I mean, at that point, I was probably still a teenager. Yeah. I mean, after so many years, you get the timeline mixed up a little bit.
Yeah. No, I know.
So some of it I remember bits and pieces of.
Right.
But I started traveling with Tony D, who coincidentally lives down the street from me, more or less.
Right here, yeah.
Yeah, right here. And I loved it. I mean, I got to do training at the stores, which was something I always loved.
Yeah.
I think when you work in the same company, doing the same thing for so long, you have to reinvent yourself over and over. And that's what I did early on. Okay, I'm not a barista anymore, I'm a shift leader. Now I'm a percolator. Now I'm a manager, managing 2 stores. Now I work for corporate. I used to do inspections. I loved the travel. I loved meeting the people.
Yeah. You had such a connection to the to the owners in a
Yes.
different way because of your parents and knowing.
Maybe, yeah.
You know, like I always
Yeah.
thought that was cool, right? Like you went in with a different level of empathy, I think, to the owner
Maybe, yeah.
than maybe somebody who is.
I think they thought I would give them real answers.
True.
Is what they were looking for.
Right.
But I'll never forget, I was training one of my first franchise classes, and I was trying to teach people the operating philosophy, which was PERK.
Is PERK.
Well, is PERK, okay? But this was when it was fairly, it wasn't new, but I remember I was very passionate about it, and I was being loud, kind of. And I remember I was teaching, looking at all the owners, and all of a sudden everybody kind of turns behind me, and I'm like, what? And I turn around, and it's you.
Me?
And you peek in the door, and I went, am I too loud? and everybody just starts laughing. They're like, no, you're doing good. But I'll never forget it. I was
Perfect.
like, uh-oh, what did I do?
Perfect. This is exactly what we
'cause
want.
I think I was doing something, you know, I talk like this. And I think I was emphasizing something.
That's awesome.
And then the door opens, and I was like, oh.
So it really took us 2 years to get you that.
I really did. I got receipts, bud. It's okay.
It's not okay. That's crazy.
I mean, that's
because we get them for new store openings. It got to be faster than
there's
2
a
years.
huge focus on new store openings. I really thought that when I did an opening, I was so excited when I bought this store because that was a huge milestone for me.
Yeah.
You know, I had been an owner for 10 years.
Yeah.
This one, just per chance, I found out through a neighbor who had gone to
Seminar.
One of the seminars about inquiring for a store nearby. And she got an email. I didn't even know it was for sale. And she came over to pick up her daughter, who was playing with my daughter. And she said, did you see this? And I was like, let me look in my email. I didn't have it. Yeah, nothing in Big B. And I said, hold on, what's his phone number?
That's like the dumbest thing in the world. Like, why wouldn't you contact other owners?
Apparently he did, but didn't know that I lived here. Even though I had said multiple times, hey, if you ever sell it.
Yeah, but you and Randy were. That's weird.
Nope. You should turn off the camera for this part. He didn't like me. He said I was too young. I was too young, and why am I in this meeting? But I'll never forget it because you know who stood up for me was Bob.
Good.
Bob said, no, she knows what she's talking about.
Oh my God, you better.
And he said it in a meeting in front of the guy.
Right.
And I was just like,
Yeah.
that's right.
Yeah.
So no, we didn't have that much of a relationship, really. And
I don't really remember that. I always thought you guys.
But I was probably 19. Like, you have to remember, I stopped working for you guys at 22. So, and I was very tan with very blonde hair, and
Right.
I mean, he stereotyped me, and that's
how that went.
it's a great story is what it is, you know? So no, I didn't know, but my neighbor was at my house, and I said, can you watch my kids? And I called him, and I said, I want it. And that was that. It was a few months later, and we were in.
Nice.
And he goes, do you want to go see it? And I said, I guess, you know?
Well, you've been here. You knew it, right?
A little bit. I knew that it wasn't the type of store that I would do. And I knew that no matter what it looked like or what was in it, it was mine.
You're going to make it work.
It was mine. Which was a very Keegan thing to do.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
To say, nope, I'm doing it, I don't care. We'll figure it out. So that was 2.5 years ago, and we kind of, you know, came in and just established that this was us. I actually didn't mention it to many people that we bought it, just in case disaster
I know.
struck.
I think I found out like months later.
I remember being really sad because I had signed, and then I went to a meeting.
And I didn't know.
They announced all of the new stores, and we stood there with our camera ready, and it didn't come up. And I asked somebody, and they said, oh, we don't do transfers. So there was no
Right.
celebration. No one shows up to walk you through anything. They call you over the phone. No one showed up, except for somebody who lives here, which was Tony.
Tony.
He was here to support me, and
The
he was one of my
legend.
first bosses. Yeah, no one showed up
I
for
think
a
that's-
transfer or anything, and I was like, you know,
Transfers
this
are
is-
so weird, right?
but it was still such a cool thing for me, you
Yeah.
know? And I get it, there's somewhere you're like,
I'm
oh, it's store
sorry we
number
didn't
32, like, not a big
celebrate
deal,
that.
but
We
I
should celebrate
I
that.
was pumped,
Yeah.
you know? And I came in quietly in terms of the town. It wasn't like new ownership day one, because I needed to see what it was. And, you know, I bought it from somebody who retired. I bought it for a low price. I think he thought it was a done store.
Right.
And I don't think, and I'll never be able to repay him for what he gave me, you know?
Really?
Yeah. He calls every so often for coffee, and he'll try to trade something. Like, hey, I still have this blender. It's probably worth $2,000. Do you want it? I said, no, but I'll send you coffee. You can still have that case of BIGGBY Best. We'll make that work. And we came in and just made the store our own. And the next day, I remember I was here early in the morning, and there was a hair cutting place next door. No one warned me that they had mannequins that the lights showed on all night. So I show up at like 5:15 in case the computers didn't switch over properly, and there's a mannequin, and I just stood in the parking lot and went,
That's spooky.
what am I looking at? Yeah, so I came in, and you know, the two managers at the time were like, oh, so much is different. And I said, no, I like it to look a certain way, you know, and I had met them in a brief meeting, and that was kind of it. But I have most of the original staff.
If you, I'm going to go off on a tangent here, but we want to do a test a locker system.
Okay.
If we paid for it, would you consider doing it?
What do you mean? Like, explain it.
It would have to take some of the frontage of your store.
Okay.
But essentially the deal is like, this is really new, like really very beginning stages. But that you order a drink,
and it's waiting for you
in your locker. So you show up to locker B6, type in this particular code,
and
it
get
opens,
your drink.
and you get and you're gone.
Okay.
So
how much space?
We don't know the details of that.
I
I
would
know
love
like
to.
the Little Caesars one that I've seen is like, it's not that big.
No.
I mean, it would take up some of your frontage.
Would it be
here,
outside or inside?
Outside. So they would
and
walk.
it would keep it hot?
Yeah.
Or how does that work? Heck yeah.
And cold.
Huh.
Right.
Yeah,
So,
no, absolutely.
So like you'd have to feed it. Like it'd be kind of, we'd have to figure, because you couldn't like walk all the way around to feed the locker, right?
No.
That would
You'd
be
have
rough.
to.
That'd be a little
You
rough.
kind of have to, though. No, we love
Anyway.
that stuff. We'll test anything.
Okay.
You know, I mean, like I said, after so many years in the business, you got to make it fun every so often. You got to
shake it up
hire
a little
somebody
bit.
to do this. You got to bring in the schools.
Shake it up
and
a little bit.
Whatever you can.
Is that Cody? Is that our Cody?
No, that's my Cody.
Your Cody, okay.
That's
right.
my Cody.
Okay. So, all right, you just leapt from home office at 1920 to buying this store.
Okay.
Fill in the gap there. Like what happened over that? I'm not going to say how many years, but fill in the gap. Like what occurred there?
So at some point, I decided I could run a BIGGBY empire. I mean, and this was when when you're young and you have these dreams and you're like, I could do that, and I want to do that. I was majoring in education at the time, and I wasn't 100% sure that that's what I wanted to do. In high school, I was the substitute Spanish teacher because I was really good at language. I couldn't do math, I still can't do math, but I was teaching, and so I loved it. I helped in a kindergarten class, and then I was helping teach. If the Spanish teachers were out, I took over their classes in the high school. And so I was like, I want to be a teacher. And then I got to college and realized I was already teaching, and so that was going to be very boring for me to finish school. And sitting in a classroom all day was just not something I wanted to do. So I worked for BIGGBY full-time, did school at the same time, took an extra year to complete it, and after I graduated,
What'd you study?
I ended up switching to food industry management, which was exactly what I was doing.
Right.
And it really helped. It gave me a broader idea of, franchises and other corporations and things. I was actually in class with Mike Illich's son.
Oh, cool.
Mike. So yeah, I switched to food, and I was like, I don't know, I'm already doing this, I love this, and I truly loved it at the time. But at some point, I realized if I was going to be taking over a BIGGBY empire, which at the time I thought was going to be my parents' stores.
Right.
That was my plan, was they were going to retire soon, because at that point, I don't know, you're 20, you think your parents are old when they're not.
Yeah, right.
So my plan was to retire them and take over. But I knew that if I was going to do that I maybe wouldn't be able to go see the world. So I actually Googled, as one does, and I Googled jobs abroad. And the options that I found that seemed the most feasible for me were to work on a cruise ship in a closet-sized bedroom with 4 roommates for 6 months, or teach abroad. So I signed up to take a class in Prague to get certified to teach English. However, I was the only one who signed up to take a class in Prague. And so they called and canceled the class.
Oh no.
Yeah. And I said, okay, well, what else do you have? And that was supposed to be, this must have been right before I graduated. So this was probably April. I was supposed to move to Prague in August. And they canceled it because nobody else signed up. And I said,
oh, so you were going to live in Prague, or?
I was moving to Prague in August.
And you were going to learn how to teach English, and then you were going to teach English there.
Yeah, I was not coming home for a while.
Got it.
I had told myself, I'll come back when I'm 25 and settle down. And that at least settled my mom down. Like, I'm not gone forever, I just need to go explore, right?
Right.
And so they called, and I said, well, what else do you have? And they were like, well, we have, you know, Thailand, Japan, Russia, Poland, Costa Rica. And I was like, well, when does it start? She goes, well, Costa Rica starts next Friday. But it was a fraction of the cost, and the flight was a fraction of the cost. And I looked at my savings account, and I was like, okay. And so I gave my parents like 5 days notice, and I moved out of the country. Yeah.
But you had a pretty significant role in the business at that point. Had that waned a little bit?
I had told them at that point.
Oh yeah, because you were going to Prague.
Well, I was also working for corporate a little bit and then managing, but I really just made sure that their people, they had a really strong crew at that point, and they had 4 stores. And so at that point, my job was traveling between the stores to make sure that the managers knew how to do things and that the trainers were strong enough to train the others. You know, game of telephone, really. Yeah. Making sure they know how to do it, they know how to do it, and they know how to do it. And I had told my parents, I want to move away.
Yeah, okay. So it wasn't like a huge 5 days.
I mean, they were thinking maybe like Indiana, you know, maybe New York, something like that.
Right.
Prague, they hated. So when I said Costa Rica, they were like, okay. And they knew I spoke Spanish. And then they pulled a fast one on me. Remember how I told you that my brother took my apartment?
Yeah.
Well, guess what they did when they found out that I was going to Costa Rica by myself? They paid for my brother to join me. So only for drop off to make sure I was safe. So actually,
that's nice.
Yeah, but the whole point was that I was doing it by myself.
Yeah,
you know?
Right.
So, but it was great. Like, it's a great memory. It's a funny story to look back on.
Right.
But yeah, so I moved to Costa Rica. I wasn't there for very long, but I got certified to teach English, and then I, you know, used that. And so the area that I was at, it's all tourism, but you can't work in tourism, which is the best job you can get there, unless you speak English. So everybody needs to learn English. And we just held classes all day, and people came in, and I was good at it. I loved it. I loved being there. Yeah. And I came home. My mom needed help to run some stores, you know. Things weren't going as she wanted them to go, and I said, okay, I'll come in, I'll check in. There's a few family weddings that we'll go to, and next thing you know, I meet my husband. And you know where my suitcase is?
From Costa Rica?
Manuel Antonio, Costa Rica.
It's still there?
It was still there. I don't know where it is now. Yeah.
You just left it?
I brought some stuff, and I said, okay, I'll be back in 6 weeks. I had to renew my passport at that point anyway. We would always just go to neighboring countries to renew. You have to be out of the country for 3 days. And I was like, well, this lines up perfectly. I'll renew my passport, switch out some clothes, bring some stuff back for the school. And I never went back.
Never went back.
I never went back. I know.
You haven't been back since?
I have not been to Costa Rica since.
Oh, you got to do that.
I know.
Okay, so then you move back here, and do you sink back into?
So that would have been 2011.
Okay.
2011, I think. And at that point, I said, okay, I'll come back. And
he was here, right? He was in Metro Detroit?
He was actually in Weberville at the time. He was from Metro Detroit, but he was working in Weberville, and I was in East Lansing.
Okay.
So I said, I'll come back, but I need to grow, you know. So I need my own store. They weren't ready to retire, my parents, and the Lansing market was closed. So we got in a car, and we just drove. And the funny part about that is, so my husband is from Commerce Township. So we ended up, you know, I said, maybe this is probably as far as I would go, is Commerce Township. And we found a location that was a coffee shop. And I said, oh man, that would be a great location. Let's stop and get coffee anyway. We went in, terrible service, really stale food. We left, we said, okay, let's keep thinking. 2 weeks later, I got a call from Sandy Green. Sandy, and he says, okay, I know of a place, it's a little farther away, but the guy wants to sell, you should come look at it. And I asked him for the address, and guess what it was? It was the exact coffee shop that we had stopped at.
Really?
Really.
That was what you took over?
That's my shop.
Is it really?
Yes.
I didn't know that was a coffee shop before.
It was called Coffee Time. And
Yeah,
when
I
we
didn't know
went
that.
in, the baristas were sitting on a dishwasher in the back smoking hookah.
Of course they were.
So
Oh, that's cool. That's good. That's
wasn't
interesting
it
part of
crazy
the
though
story.
that we had driven by that store,
Yeah,
stopped for coffee?
You're right. And
then
then
took
Sandy
over.
called you. So then you worked on that one. You did that one. You opened that one. How'd that go?
I mean, that was tough.
Yeah.
Okay, it was an hour and a half from where I had been,
It's tough. Yeah.
and
You were
BIGGBY
living where?
East Lansing.
And opening a store an hour and a half
I was
away.
waking up at 3:30 in the morning,
Yeah.
killing myself to get there, but I wanted my own shop,
Right.
you know, and I was young, I had a baby. She was 1 when we opened the store,
amazing.
so a lot of times I wasn't actually sleeping, you know, and I was traveling every day to get there, and just,
I remember a conversation with you, and we were it was a Ray Kroc
Yeah.
forum meeting. We were,
oh, I'm gonna guess I was in tears.
yep.
Yeah, I remember that.
But I remember you were like this. You were like, you don't need to say anything. Just sit there for a second.
Just listen.
Yeah. You don't need to say anything.
I got it.
I
I
know
know
what you're
what's
going to say.
wrong.
I know what you're going to say. You don't need to say it, but
give me a
and I
moment.
just remember you were like, you
Yeah.
know, letting
Yeah.
it fly, really struggling. I mean, the
Yeah.
baby thing, I can't imagine that.
So that was a leadership forum that we had.
Yeah.
And one of the people in it was somebody that I had actually trained in one of those first classes, which she's probably one of my best friends in BIGGBY,
Yeah.
and that was Marianne. So she already knew everything. And then I became friends, really good friends with Peggy Rector.
Yeah.
And they were both having so much success, which I had already had. I had won every award almost that existed at that time in the BIGGBY world.
Yeah.
So then here I go, off on my own.
Your first store,
My
your
first
store.
store, my only one by myself, and it just did nothing. Like, it was a terrible opening.
It was like obstinate.
It just,
Yeah.
no one knew what BIGGBY was, no one cared to come in, we couldn't even give it away. I mean, it was tough. And, you know, at that point, you're
Well,
already in it, what do you
You
do?
had seen so much success too.
I had seen so much success, and my forte was running some of the busiest stores with
In the
the
whole
best
system,
service
yeah.
in the whole system.
Right.
And that's what I was known for. And it was really hard to even train people to be like, okay, you know, it's really hard to be a hype guy when there's no one to be hyped for. And people are looking at me like I'm nuts, because why would they believe me?
Right.
There's nobody here. And yeah, and I, you know, looking back, it's almost heartbreaking. I'm like, oh, that poor girl. I spent so much money on like billboards, mailers, marketing things that I have never done here or even had done before. We spent so much money.
Yeah.
And I don't know, sometimes I wish I could go back and be like, okay, save all that money and maybe go smaller. Go smaller. Go to the schools. Find your people. And I think I was so lost that I thought that people would come without me finding them first. But I mean, I was,
Expand on that right there. That's gold. So, yeah.
So
So you went in and you did a lot of broad-based media,
Yeah.
advertising, very expensive.
yeah.
And what worked, or what, you know?
I was saying, so nothing that I thought was going to work worked. And frankly, a lot of it is what I was told. It was literally in the paperwork. You must sign this much money over to advertise your store in order for this to work. I was paying one of those mobile advertising trucks to go up and down the street, a billboard. I remember, I'll never forget, the billboard was $5,000 for 4 weeks. And now I'm like, oh my gosh.
That's a lot.
I would never, you know.
I
But
wouldn't either.
I was learning, and I was just doing what I thought was what I was supposed to do. But what worked was consistency, you know, giving good service. People would tell their friends what BIGGBY was. It was a battle to even tell people what BIGGBY was, because I was no longer, you know, we weren't in Kansas anymore, right?
Right.
Like, I was from the Lansing area where BIGGBY was huge,
Right.
and everybody knew the brand.
Yeah, this concept of pioneering a brand.
Yeah.
Like when you come from a world where the brand is established, when you open a store, it like has some automatic traction.
Right.
Pioneering a brand, you open the store and like nobody walks in.
I was just another coffee shop, and they already had those.
Right.
So it didn't really matter, you know?
And so like thinking about it today, let's just think about this. So thinking about it today, like somebody comes in, they're gonna do a store in some town in Indiana that doesn't know BIGGBY.
Yeah.
What would your advice be to that person? Pioneering a brand, nobody knows who we are.
My biggest advice for somebody pioneering a brand is to go smaller, to find your people. Because your people are the ones that are going to save you. You're gonna need them, you know? Find the schools. Make it fun for yourself, you know? Host events of things that you like to do. Find the people that speak your language and that want to be there. And they will tell their friends.
Yeah, and okay. And so when you say find, like how? Find your people, how?
I think you actually need to walk out the door of your coffee shop and you need to go there. Whether it's a school, which they won't let you in, you've got to push a lot of buttons and maybe get somebody's contact information. Schools, if you play hockey, get into a hockey rink. If you like soccer or your kids do, you know, you just need to find somebody and show them what BIGGBY is all about.
Over and over and over and over.
Over and over and over.
And it never stops.
Yeah. So when you walked in today, I was talking to somebody who was, you know, asking about a donation day, which is huge. That's something that we do at both of my stores now. And I don't know if you heard me tell her. I said, okay, we are waitlisted.
For
right
April.
now.
You said April, right?
I can try to get you in for May because we are booked through April.
So what does that mean, booked? Like you've got everything?
So
tell me how it works.
When I bought this store, and this is my community, right? So I live about a block away. My kids go to school right down the street. So this one was much easier in that aspect for me. I've got a friend walking in the door right now. But when I came in here, I wanted to show people and give back to people. And just show them what my idea of a BIGGBY was. I lost my train of thought when Ashley walked in. I told you to come in. Thanks.
I like your sweater. I like your sweater. Yeah.
So Ashley is the PTO president of another elementary school.
Okay.
And then I'm the PTO president of one of my friends' schools. So when I came into this BIGGBY, I wanted to show people what my dream was, right? And so we do donation days. And I actually started with my kids' own school. And I said, hey, I'll give you guys $1 for every person who comes in on whatever date that it is. And that's what we do. And that took off.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
So
when you were talking, I didn't really know when you were saying donation days are crazy.
Donation days are crazy. Right. So we have created networks we literally have done a donation day for every single school in Livingston County.
Wow.
Every public school, one private school. We have sponsored soccer, baseball, volleyball, robotics, trying to think, community theater. We just had the cast of SpongeBob here last week.
Cool.
We have the Performing Arts Dance Theater here tomorrow, but we have really made it known to people that we are here.
Yeah.
And we want to serve you.
Yeah.
We do a lot of events for the community just for fun. So we have spring sports Saturdays. They started as soccer Saturdays, and then we really heard a lot of feedback from the baseball moms and all the other sports teams. But we do spring sports Saturdays or soccer Saturdays, and anybody in uniform for the Howell Recreation Center gets a free drink. And that's another one, the Howell Rec.
Well, that's how you're just blowing up the cup count here, right? Like people love that kind of connectivity.
Well, and people reciprocate it, right?
Yeah.
So Howell Recreation, they have been, they're part of the reason for our success. They even crowned us Melon Royalty last year.
Get out
That
of
is
here.
a thing in Howell. Yeah, we have an award over there.
Melon Royalty for the Melon Fest, eh?
For the Melon Fest, yeah.
Wow.
Because we do so much with them.
Okay, so you're shifting gears.
Yeah.
A little bit. What is your favorite part of this?
My favorite part of this is making it my own, you know. I thought it would be fun to have SpongeBob here. So why not call him and say, hey, you want to work together, you show up, and I'll help support you guys, you know? Every organization in the community needs funding. I think that's something people forget. Schools have no money. You know, the PTOs have $0 to work with. They only get that through sponsors, and I think it's really nice to be able to give back.
Yeah.
So
that's
my
nice.
other favorite thing is completely separate, and that's that for me, this type of job, or my BIGGBY lifestyle as I like to call it, gives me the freedom to be with my family. So that's my actual favorite thing. And it's cool to be able to share it with my kids. You know, it's kind of like owning an ice cream shop.
Will they work here?
I don't know if they'll work here. There's one of them who just seems very much like me, who might decide she's going to take over the place.
Yeah.
So they might. I know a lot of their friends want to, but I'm sure they will. It'd be kind of cool to have a third generation BIGGBY in the system.
Yeah.
That'd be crazy, but we're not too far from it.
I know.
You know?
We have the Paula's kids are working in the stores.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
I could see that too.
Third generation, right?
See you later.
Okay, so the favorite part is manifesting your lifestyle, your family, being able to do that, but then also making the business your own stamp on it.
It's a franchise, but I can have fun with it,
right?
right?
Right.
So, like homecoming. Oh, let's get the football team here. Let's get some green and gold balloons, you know, or be in the parade. Or for Valentine's Day, we had giant marquee letters in here that said XO. We do the same for Mother's Day, but I just kind of come up with that stuff and
that's great.
And do it.
Do other owners ever reach out to you for those kinds of ideas and like execute the same sorts of things?
Yeah. Some of us we even share artwork.
Yeah,
Yep.
Because one of the things that I thought would be cool, and it wasn't my idea. I just was like, I like it. You know, was owning prom, like making prom.
That would be cool.
Thing. Like, let's if we're gonna. Because I always believe in marketing, like you've got to like own something. Yeah. You can't do little bits here and there because nobody cares, but you got to like own it. Yeah. So I think we're doing that, but I'm not sure. Do you know who won the Howell Heartland hockey game last night?
Last night, no, but I could find out.
Yeah. I just realized I don't know the score. It was like.
We won the last one. I think did we?
It was last night.
We can find out.
I can find out too. Actually. Talk about it, like they have to meet.
Did Howell win last night?
They have to meet in the. Howell did win.
I thought so.
6-3, 6-3. Okay. Do you know I grew up playing hockey against Howell and Heartland?
Did you really?
Well, I played at Milford, right?
Okay. Yep.
So we were better than Howell and Heartland then.
Okay. You just got to get that up. You got to note that, don't you?
Of course. Okay, so then what's the worst part of the job?
The worst part of the job is when it rains, it pours. And I think people forget, there's two things. I think people forget that it is still a small business, right? If something breaks here, I don't call you. Right. There's not anybody in BIGGBY that I call.
Right. It's on you.
Fortunately for me, I usually call my husband, but somebody has to come in and fix things. And a lot of times it just, it's a small business and it kind of feels like things come up. And when they do, it takes you out for a week, but it happens. You kind of got to roll with the punches, and after so long, you realize there's usually a cycle to that. The month of January is usually awful, The air conditioner is going to go out as soon as the weather turns. Right. The ice machine's going to act up as soon as all the frozen drinks start
So
coming
how do you manage that? Like, how do you, I get it. I totally get it. But how do you, when that stuff happens, how do you not let that take over?
Of all, it takes time. It takes experience to learn it and to realize this is just going to happen. This is okay, and we'll get through it. And I think for me, I was lucky enough to see my parents go through it. So I know that it'll get better. Yeah. I think that was the best thing, is just realizing that it's going to happen, but the reward is so much greater than that. Yeah. I joke with friends that there are days where I could be on the beach in Florida and no one even knows I'm gone, but other days I can't even go to the grocery store because so much is going wrong that I have to be there. And it's not often, but it happens. Yeah. It definitely does.
What's your favorite BIGGBY memory?
My favorite BIGGBY memory.
I mean, that's 25 years.
Yeah, I filmed a commercial with my oldest daughter.
Oh, that's cool.
She was 3, and she got to try whipped cream with sprinkles. And the funny part about that was she had only ever had magic milks. She had never just had whipped cream with sprinkles. And she looked inside the cup and looked at the director and said, "What is this?" And I'll never forget it because she was on camera, and then they used that marketing, and I still have it framed in my house. It was for holiday hours, but it was also in a commercial.
Oh, that's cool.
I think that was a fun one.
Yeah, that's cool.
I liked that. Way back in the day, I don't know the actual name of it, but we had the BIGGBY prom, the BIGGBY ball.
Yeah, remember that?
That was a fun night. We had a very rowdy group of people.
Oh boy, that got out of hand.
And the next day, my dad went to go return his tux, and the lady at the dry cleaner said, "Oh, I was there." Man, that table next to us was so loud. And my dad said, "Oh, 100% that was us." And it was.
We did that out at the Sheraton on the west side, right?
Mm-hmm.
Did we do that once or
Yes.
just one time?
Just one time.
I've got bad stories from that.
That was a funny night.
That was a fun. Oh, just leave it at that. That was a funny night.
But those are some of the memories I have.
Yeah, that stuff. I mean, it was a different era for sure. Expand on this forum thing a little bit, because it's one thing that I'm beginning to crystallize is like bringing forums back.
Yeah. So I was in a forum.
Would you be?
I loved it. Yeah.
Go ahead.
I was in a forum 12 years, I don't know, 10 years ago, something like that. And it was with different owners in the area, not even really in the area, because some of them were driving hours. And we got together and we did some leadership training.
It was the second forum, right?
It was the second
Stray
forum.
Clock was number 2.
Yeah, we were the B team is what we referred to ourselves as.
Yeah, but now you're like, there was like 8 formed after you.
There were. And I think a lot of people in that forum were heavy in struggles, and we're in that forum to kind of talk to other operators and get help.
Yeah.
And it was great. I think there were some times where I was like, okay, I need a timeout because my store needs me so much that I can't even be here for a 1-hour meeting.
I remember that.
Yeah.
We were in Ed's store in Livonia in the back room, and you were like, "You guys, I can't be here. Like, this is crazy." I remember that.
Yeah. I think I remember that one. I don't know.
I remember it.
I remember the.
Because I was just like, oh, the pressure.
Does it have a really big back, like a room?
Yeah.
An actual room?
It's like a whole private meeting room back there.
I remember that. I didn't realize that's
I was
where
just
that
there
was.
yesterday, actually.
Were you? I didn't realize that's where that was.
Yep.
And we did an overnight trip, but I think
Kalamazoo, Battle.
it was great.
Yeah.
And I remember being told I was going to be out in the woods. And then we walk in and there's this nice hotel.
Right, we're staying in the woods.
I know, but I was really prepped for like.
You came ready to rumble.
Because nobody would tell us what was going on.
No,
and
I know.
was
That
like,
was the greatest part about
I'm
those.
bringing the worst shoes. I'm bringing the worst pants. I am bringing survival, right?
Yeah.
Like that's what we're doing. And it was great. But it helped us bond with other owners. And I loved that because I think sometimes people get so stuck in their store that they either don't want to see people because they compete with them or think they are, or maybe they're embarrassed of the struggle that they're in.
And they don't know everybody else is in the struggle.
And they don't know that everybody else is in it or has already done it.
Right.
You know?
Through it. Yeah.
And I think
that's really wise, right? Like that's a big part of what those forums do is you realize you're not the only one that's, in one, as they say, right?
And it gave us a reason to see each other.
Yeah.
So what's funny is we did that for 2 years, maybe about 2 years, I think. Was it a year?
It had to be longer than that.
No. It
And
kind
then
of
it
fell
disbanded?
apart. Yeah, but again, because I think some of us were just so stuck in struggles that a few couldn't come, and then it was like, do we continue?
Was Mo Alpha Care in that group? Yeah, that group did go a little
Bill
sideways.
And Indiana, oh my gosh.
Jim Getz?
Yule.
No, Yule.
Yep, and Yule had a lot personal.
Oh yeah.
A lot of personal things
Would
going
you?
on.
What would you like? Would you be willing to seed one now?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like lead it?
Yeah.
Because that in the YPO group that was established on, they take, like I graduated out of Forum or YPO because I turned 50.
Okay.
So they take people in that moment.
Yeah.
And then you go in and seed a group for like a year.
Okay.
And go to the meetings and kind of walk everybody through it.
I think at the time, we all thought we were picked for that forum because of how well we were doing or how well we had done. So I think for some of us that once we were there, we didn't necessarily see ourselves as top tier And I think we broke our own.
Yeah, but look at that group now.
I know. But it's, you know, what it created was now, you know, I go to the BIGGBY annual meetings, and for me, this is my, I really don't know, 26 maybe coming up. It's been that long. So at some point, you hear a lot of the same content, but what you'll see are the veterans who are just huddled in their own little groups with the friends that they have formed throughout the years. And some of those meetings with those friends that we have formed are some of my favorite experiences.
And
that's the whole
valuable.
Reason why I go. You know, and sometimes that's where the truth comes out. How'd you do this? How are you doing that? Share this.
And I hope too that like you can recognize that being an example for others, the people that are newer in the system, just getting started, being an example like, no, this is why these meetings are valuable. I mean, sure, the programming, the classes, whatever. But it's really connecting with the other franchise owners and building relationships, right?
And it creates a relationship. Something as simple as, I ran out of cups. Kristen, you got any cups?
Right.
You know, it's something
and
easy
happy
like
to
that.
help, right?
Happy to help, or I'll be there. Or, you know, one of them is, hey, I want to retire soon. Are you ready? You know, and that was a conversation. Even right before I bought this, I had a call from someone who I respect a lot. And I had once told them, when you're ready, they're mine, you know? And my dream changed a little bit, but you know, there's a connection for any reason. And it could just be buying cups, buying BIGGBYs, or literally just, hey, how you doing? Do you need help?
How are you doing?
How you do? Or, I am really short-staffed. Do you want to come to Traverse City? Like, yeah, you know, and it's, I think that's some of the stuff that people don't see, and that's the fun.
Well, we are, you know, like, I think one of the things that we've done maybe better than any, but we've done really, really well in franchising is building that community, right? And I think a lot of franchises, the franchise owners don't feel connected to each other. And being connected to the brand is one thing. And of course there's a connection there, but like with the brand, like the corporate entity that owns the brand and so on, it's not a personal connection. You can have personal connections with people inside the company, but like when the owners connect, it's just a whole different level of support. And we recognize that super early. Well, your mom and dad were part of like us understanding how important that was, because they supported each other. Even though there was a little bit of tension sometimes.
Well, there was at first, you know, we thought, and at first being 25 years ago, the thought was that we were competing with each other. And that took a long time to realize, oh no.
We're supporting each other.
We're supporting each other, whether we know it or not, whether we even talk or not. We are pushing for the same common goal. And that's.
And it took time, but I mean, it worked, and so like that's a big part of what I think is critical in franchising. Is creating that. And so anyway, I just wanted you to spend a few minutes on the forum, and that was like monthly meetings.
It was a monthly meeting.
Take
and
the
maybe
summers
a phone
off, maybe.
Call.
You guys.
Remember a summer off.
You guys did some things a little differently. Chris,
we went in really rigid, and I think we thought we were supposed to do that because remember, we didn't have leaders. So the first one had people leading the group, and then we were told that the leaders were going to bow out.
Well, wasn't JD there?
For a little bit. I think we had Laura and JD, and then they kind of decided, okay, now you have to do your own thing, but Laura would keep record. But we also had Kat, we had Caitlin, you know, and it was really hard because we were sort of confused on what we were supposed to be accomplishing. And I think that was hard. And then again, I think some of us had struggles that we were trying to deal with while trying to figure out the value of the group. So.
Well, I don't know. I think maybe this fall, I'm going to try to launch one. We're going to do it at Lovejoy. And so we'll see. Like if you want to be involved, I think just having that sort of veteran presence is.
You know what I would love to see is at BNS at the annual meeting. The veterans need something separate. You know, and we create it by not going to class. That's what the veterans do. We hang out and talk to each other rather than sitting through some of the stuff that we've already heard.
If we create it, I bet you guys don't do it.
No, if you said 20 plus. You've been in here for 20 plus.
20 plus.
I mean, but there's a decent amount of us. And you know what? We are rowdy.
Crazy.
You could just give us snacks. We don't care. But like, we like to hang out with
Snacks
each other.
And a few cocktails.
I was going to say that, but you know.
Yeah.
But really.
I'm making a note.
You make a note. Like, look in the hallways during those classes. That's where we are.
Right.
Because that's our opportunity to see each other, you know? And those are some of my favorite memories of the meetings, is hanging out with people that I don't usually get to see.
Could just be like a social event too. Like just
that's what I'm saying.
To
just
get in the room, you got to be here for 20 years.
Sorry, you got to be in here.
Okay. I know this isn't an efficient use of, but if I don't type it.
No, I love it.
Okay, got it. Okay, what else? So
while I have you,
yes,
I tried to get someone to come in and help me walk me through a renovation, and they said no. But I'm expected to keep my stores nice and fresh, but maybe somebody else has a better idea on how to do it. You know, I don't know what the soft.
What do you mean? We didn't send anybody in to help you?
Yeah, I asked it.
Like talk through what to do.
Yeah, so this color on this wall, okay, this ceiling doesn't work for you, but here are your options. Sometimes I think just the presence is what's needed. And I think that was lost once BIGGBY got really big.
We're not really big.
You're really big.
We're a little bit big.
Well, I think sometimes people just, you know how I said my baristas just needed love when I bought over the store? Sometimes the owners just need somebody to come in, not for an inspection, but just to see.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I'm sorry, that doesn't feel good, right? Let me make a note here. So you want somebody to come in and kind of walk you through
I just wanted to come in and say, okay, the ceiling that I have does not exist in the books that you're giving me.
Doesn't exist anywhere.
Of my options. Or if I wanted my study booths back there, is it even legal to be that close? Would it block the wheelchair accessibility to bathrooms? And the new lights go over the booth, but my lights are about 6 feet higher than that.
Yeah, this is a tall ceiling.
Yeah. It would just be nice to have somebody come in and say, here's what you're supposed to do. And celebrate transfers. Celebrate anybody who buys a store.
Yes. Yeah. Okay, let me, don't want to forget that. I'm not going to type all that right now, but I will.
Because if I buy another one, you're going to show up.
Yeah,
I'm going to come pick you up.
How many times have you texted me to do something and I've said no?
I'm just saying. I've invited you to a lot of things.
You do, and I do have to say no to some of that stuff. I do. Like, I'm sorry, but
you got to answer first.
I answer, don't I?
No.
Get out of here.
Do I need to call her? I'll have my people call your people.
That's how that works.
For the next parties. Yes.
That's how that works.
Yeah.
I respond, don't I? I don't respond?
Sometimes, yeah.
Oh, God. My brother said the same shit to me like a week ago. He's like, dude, you're terrible. I'm like, I don't mean to be terrible.
That's funny.
All right, so how does BIGGBY make it better?
How does BIGGBY make it better? Because it reminds you that we are individually owned and operated, that we are local stores with local owners, and we are here for your community.
And that makes it better.
And that makes it better.
100%.
Yeah, it's not always about the coffee, it's about the people.
Yeah.
And the people making the coffee.
Yeah, 100%.
100%.
Cool. Well, thank you for doing this.
Yeah, this is fun.